What is the craziest thing you've ever had to explain to someone else? I'll go first. There was a viral video going down of a woman passing a toddler through a drive-through window. I thought this video was hilarious because it looked like she was physically paying for her meal with a child. I thought it would be funny if I went in and did the math on how much a baby is worth. After some research, I found out that at the end of the day, once your child is 18, it costs around $250,000 to raise them. Then I had to determine the value of the baby, which unfortunately you can only value a human after they die and you sell their organs, which was around $350,000. So the baby's worth like $100,000. Go to my buddy's house and he pulls up my computer, goes to my browser history and sees that I Googled how much is a dead baby worth. And to this day, even after explaining this to him, I'm still pretty sure he thinks I'm a serial killer.
My dad and I have been playing this really stupid game for well over a decade now. Can't remember how it started. All it involves is trying to get the other person's attention, but for no reason. So I'd be like, Dad, and if he said what, I'd go, nothing, and I'd win the game. It's dumb because we've been playing it for so many years that just neither of us responds to each other's names anymore. Anyway, one time I'm in a coma, which I appreciate is a jump in the story, but you're going to have to bear with me. I'm in a coma in the ICU on a ventilator. And I don't remember any of this. I'm super hyper sensitive, so this has all been told to me after the event. They bring me around to see how I'm doing, and I can't speak though because I've still got this ventilator down my throat, so they give me a piece of paper to communicate with. Bearing in mind, in this room, there are my parents, multiple doctors, multiple nurses, everyone's in there, okay? And what do I write on this piece of paper, given that I've nearly just died? I write Dad. And my poor father, who has really been through it in the past 24 hours, goes, What? And I apparently go, nothing. Like, I really seized my opportunity to win this game. And do a little dance. Apparently, because I'm so happy that I won. The whole medical staff are obviously baffled, and my dad just turns to the doctors and goes, yeah, she's absolutely fine.
Okay, you guys have to help me because apparently it's been so long since I've worked in an office setting that I have forgotten all office etiquette and like to put your filter on and certain things you don't say out loud. I'm just going to tell y'all a story. My husband's like laughing really hard at me. We were doing CPR training today. And one of my coworkers had to get on her knees to do the chest compressions. She's older than me. And so I was just like, dang, she can stay on her knees for a long time. And so I said, how can you stay on your knees for so long? And everybody in the room just like looked at me. And I didn't mean it inappropriately.
Hey, babe. She had a lot of practice.
Babe, shut up. I didn't mean it inappropriately. I was just admiring the fact that like my knees would be struggling if I did that.
Hey, baby. Hers wasn't.
So now I have to quit and I can't go back to work Monday because I'm embarrassed.
One time, I was at the hospital because I had a sinus infection and I couldn't breathe, and one of the nursing assistants took me upstairs because I had to get a chest x-ray, and as we were going up the stairs, he was asking me all of these questions about my medical history, and he was like, are you sexually active? And I was like, yes, and he was like, is there any chance that you're pregnant? And I was like, no, and then he looked at me and he was like, how is there no chance that you're pregnant if you're sexually active? And then I looked at him, and then he looked at me, and then I kept looking at him, but he didn't say anything. So I was like, I am a lesbian. And then he paused, and he was like, sorry, you didn't look like a lesbian to me. And I was like, dude, what does a lesbian look like to you? And he said, Ellen DeGenereeeeeess.
But let's go. So while I was an AP manager, I got an anonymous tip that one of my cashiers was letting people have stuff for free. And this gentleman told me that he didn't think it was right and wanted to report it. It was a little suspicious from the start because he had specific details about the cashier. So over a course of 2 weeks, I did my job and I investigated the cashier. And I honestly found no signs of theft. The gentleman did leave me his phone number, so I called him back and told him that I appreciated it, but I didn't see any signs of theft. Later that day, he came into the store and confronted me, showing me receipts and pictures of the items that he'd gotten for free. But this is where he screwed up. I was able to get times, dates, and register numbers off the receipts, and I thanked him and told him I would continue to investigate and update him. Using this new information, I found the times he went through this young lady's register, and I also realized that he always used the same credit card when he paid. Almost every time he would check out, he would go through this young lady's register. But I still saw no signs of theft, nor did I see the items he said he got for free in his cart. At this point, I was confident that our cashier wasn't stealing. So using the cameras, I printed off a picture of the gentleman and I took it to the cashier and showed her. When she saw the picture, she damn near burst out in tears. She explained to me that this was her neighbor, and that she had just moved into a new neighborhood with her and her husband and her kids. Now, our cashier was white, but her husband was black. And the neighbor had made it very vocal that he did not agree with her relationship with him, and that he had been harassing her and her husband at the house. And he would often sit out on the front porch with his laptop and do his work while he let the children play in the front yard or the backyard. And the neighbor had called the cops on them multiple times for this, claiming they were a noise nuisance. It apparently had gotten so bad that the kids were even afraid to go out and play. She said that the neighbor had found out where she worked and had been coming through her line for a number of weeks. She said that he was always intentionally rude to her, trying to trigger her into saying something. But she never did and never reported it out of fear of losing her job. But she swore to me that she would never give anything for free, especially to him. And I believed her. So with this new information, I went back to investigating. And this time I followed him around. After he would leave her register, he would go back into the store, select other merchandise that he didn't pay for, and walk out the door with it. But he would always try to flash his receipt at the door, almost as if he wanted to get caught so he could blame it on the cashier. At this point, I had enough evidence, and I had had him on camera stealing about $1,000 worth of merchandise over a course of 3 weeks. So I made some phone calls, and arranged some things with my local PD. That was on a Friday. I found the cashier and I asked her if she was off on Monday. She said she was. And I told her I wanted her to take Monday and enjoy the day. Sit out on the front porch, let the kids play, and let her husband work. She was confused, but she did it. Monday afternoon came along and the cashier and her husband came in the store. She gave me a big hug and he shook my hand. Apparently the neighbor called the police for them being outside. But when the police got there, they arrested him for theft and took his ass off to jail. It's the petty for me.
I used to talk to people online, strangers, and there was this guy and his name was Seth and he was super emo. And I thought he was so cute. So I wanted to impress him. So I did what I did best. I lied. And I was like in 7th grade. Seventh, yeah, I think it was 7th. And he's like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, nothing. What's up with you? Rar. And he rars back. And I'm like, so what are you doing? And by the way, like, I was having a birthday party and we were having a scavenger hunt at Walmart. So we had just finished the scavenger hunt at Walmart. And he texted me and he's like, I'm getting stoned. I did not know what that meant. I had zero idea what that meant, but I was like, I don't want to ask him. Like, I want to be cool. Like, I want him to think I do that too. So I was like, me too. I get stoned all the time. And my mom grabbed my phone and she's like, do you get stoned? Yeah, all the time. And she starts yelling and screaming in front of all my friends. And she's like, I can't believe you got stoned. Where do you get stoned? I'm like, I don't know. I just do it at home. Where? You're gonna... Oh my God. And I'm like, just like anywhere. Like anywhere I can get stoned, I get stoned. And I think she started to catch on. I had no idea what the fuck I was talking about. Cause she goes, okay. Well, how do you get stoned? And I was like, I use a rock. I use a rock to get stoned. Oh my God. And she just stared at me and was like, no, you don't. I was like, yes, I do. I do get stoned. And she was like, you're a liar. You lie to people. You don't know how to get stoned. And then I finally was like, yeah, I lied. I don't know how, but I want to know. Cause Seth does it. And she's like, who the fuck is Seth? And I'm like, he's the love of my life. He told me he loves me. He said rawr.
And welcome back to another episode of Stupid Things I Say to Strangers. So as I'm driving down the road, this guy starts merging into my lane, about ready to hit me, so of course I honk at him. He instantly goes into a fit of road rage, screaming at me because I was in his blind spot. He started getting aggressive, started making threats, and me, of course, Don't talk to me like that unless we're gonna fuck, because those kind of words just excite me. The look on his face as he instantly shut up, rolled his window up, and kept